In Australia, they're trying to ban clapping.
Yeah.
Because it is triggering.
It's banned on certain college campuses here now.
Yeah, because it's triggering people's anxieties. How much of a fucking snowflake do you need to be? Where, is this triggering you? Yeah. Is this triggering you?
I would like to know what level of clapping triggers them. Because
golf clap.
Well, if you're at work and you're having some meeting and you're like force clapped because your boss is talking, you're just kind of like whatever. You have to physically show that you're clapping, but you're not actually making much noise.
When I clap in a
crowd,
you
at a concert, you're just like, yeah! What aspect of the clapping is what annoys me?
I purposely make the dome.
You get the air. Yeah, you get the air. It also sounds like a real heavy FAP session. I'm pretty sure I'm going to leave all that in. Welcome to the Kpop Afterbirth. I'm Big Will.
I'm Big Paul.
And this is the fastest growing K-pop podcast in the world. And today we're going to be talking about a range of different topics. So,
mainly because we don't really know what we're talking about.
Shut the fuck up. We are prepared.
I mean, I've got this.
We have basic ideas of what we're going to talk about, and then we're going to rant
on my phone about, the Monsta X album that I listened to.
I have multiple things in mind, but we're going to talk about different subjects across a different range of things. Current events mainly, just because obviously keeping it a little more topical keeps it a little more relevant. So, the first thing you wanted to talk about was the new Monsta X album. Because we didn't like the Follow song.
True, and
you got called out by one of our.
Well, we both did.
We both did,
but
he wasn't calling me out. We're cool, whoever you. He's calling you.
So,
out.
If you watch this, your name on here is Monsta X, and you posted okay, you didn't like Follow.
Okay, hold on.
But what about
before we get into this? I just want to make a point. If your avatar is the thing that I'm watching, you lose all credibility when it comes to your bias-ass opinion. That's like me saying everything A-Pink drops is amazing. You should never listen to me. Go listen to it for yourself. But if your name is Monsta X, and you have a picture of a Monsta X member, and you are angry that we didn't like something on Monsta X, fuck off.
I don't think he was angry.
No, I'm just giving him shit.
But it did. It made me stop and think. He was like, all right, if you don't like Follow, but did you listen to the rest of the album?
It's a valid point.
It is a valid point.
I very rarely listen to the whole albums unless I really like the group. So.
It's true. I listen to the singles that come out on YouTube. That's what I do. It's what I've always done.
Well, there's so much of that.
There's very few.
K-pop is 80% visual.
Absolutely.
So much of K-pop is about the visuals. So when I can't see the group, I don't necessarily want. But I've always been that way.
See, but for me, when I listen to K-pop, which is why you're better at memorizing shit than I am, I'm in my truck because of how much I drive.
Yeah.
So I'm always listening to it on the go. It's very rare that I actually, unless I'm here, that I sit down and watch the music videos and actually do that stuff.
Yeah.
So when he said, well, what about the rest of the album? All right, fine. Let me listen to the rest of the album. There's 8 songs on the album. Of those 8 songs, I legitimately like 4 of them.
Okay.
3 of them I would listen to again.
Oh, that's not bad.
My favorite one, by far, hands down, was You Are. It's just
It's not a version of Taeyeon's You Are, is it?
No.
Okay.
But, I'm sappy. You know that. I know that.
Ain't nothing wrong with it.
Hell no.
Grown-ass men, we like to cry. We like love stuff. I got a wife and 3 kids, man.
Notebook like a motherfucker.
Walk to Remember.
But
hey, Jamie's love is like the wind. I can't see it, but I can feel it.
She's like the wind in the tree.
So I lift my hands and pray. You knew it! You knew it! I didn't think you were gonna know it.
Man, you know I know that shit. You know I know it.
Man, that was one of my all-time favorite soundtracks to a movie. I nerded out to that song
I know
so much, man.
I still remember you picked me up one day at my house in your truck. I think it was a black Dodge you had.
Oh, my old Ram.
You were blasting that song. And I remember walking up looking at your ass And you gave two fucks. Like, I opened up the door and you got to that, pray, and you got like that high ass voice. I was like, dude, what the fuck?
See, I've always been a lame ass. It's in my DNA.
It's true.
Right
It's
there
very
next
true.
to blue eyes and tall. Lame ass.
But you are, man. It was a slow song, and I dug it.
I'm surprised your favorite one is a slow song, too.
Dude, I was like just chilling at home, and if it catches me in that right mood, I'm fine with it. But here's the thing: out of that entire playlist, the only song that I thought that was out of place and didn't fit was "Follow." It was
really the main song. Was it like the only one that was geared to a Western audience?
Yes.
Okay, that makes sense because a lot of K-pop
Like,
groups are doing that.
Because "Find You," which is the intro song, that was good. There were some spots that I was like, but it got better. But
how much of the rest of the
as soon
album
as
sounded like their old better stuff, like "Trespass" and "Stuck" and "Hero" and so on and so on?
I would probably say, like, so Monster Truck, Disaster, and Burn It Up, I would put with their older stuff.
Okay.
Now, I will say, Mirror and See You Again, it's not that they were, like, bad. I just didn't care for them.
Right.
But the one song that I wish that wasn't on that album was Follow.
Telling you.
That's the only song
that
I would say
drive-
that if it didn't have that song, I would probably be like, you know what, that album was pretty good. Even though I only liked 4 out of the 8 songs, and 3 of them I would listen
That's
to
pretty
again.
good for an album. When's the last time you listened to a whole album and you're like, every song was great? Not very often.
Honestly, I think the only person that I can say that for, and it's a Western, country artist, is Trace Adkins.
Oh.
I can listen to all of his shit. I just love it. But it's also because he's got a deep voice, and when it catches me at the right time, especially when I first wake up, I can match pitch with him. And it's nice. I'm tired of all these fucktards with their high voices. It's hard for me to sing with that shit, man. But, I mean, I just didn't like the song. And honestly, when it came up, because I was doing stuff when I was listening to it, because that's how I listen to music anyway. When that song came on, it stopped me from what I was doing. It stopped me.
Gotcha.
And I was like, fuck this shit.
Yeah.
And I had to skip it.
If you feel the need to skip a song, it's bad.
I had to.
Yeah.
Like, it was just, yeah, it is what it is. But Monster Truck and Burn It Up, those are definitely the songs that I would listen to again. For sure. Off of the album.
Okay. So I did my own research this time.
Did you?
And we didn't. This was not planned. He just happened to do the Monsta X one. Because I'm a huge
Thank
WJSN
you for that
fan.
suggestion, too.
Yeah, see, call us out in the comments. You know what I mean?
'Cause I don't mind
we
it,
actually
like-
read them and sometimes listen. Most of the time, we're like, fuck you. But sometimes we listen if you're not an asshole.
Not gonna lie, when I read the first sentence, I figured where it was probably going. I was like, man, fuck you. but then I read it, and I was just like, he got a point.
But you got to understand
He's
it's
got a
our
point.
perspective.
Yeah.
You're one person, you have a comment, and you might not have any negative intent in your comment. You might literally be sitting there like on the toilet, just like blatantly staring at your phone, like, oh, I don't agree with that. But we get so much fucking hate because
there's a lot.
we don't cater to the whiny babies that exist in the K-pop community.
I think what a lot of it is, too, when we do that, we just instantly callous ourselves.
That's what it is. So
It's like, wall up, who gives a
in
fuck?
order to deal with it, you have to sort of harden yourself if you want to be on this platform or any kind of like where you put yourself out there.
You gotta have thick skin.
You gotta have thick skin. That's why I feel bad for a
And
lot of these
take
K-pop artists
everything
and,
with a
and
grain
all
of
the stuff
salt.
that they deal with. Some of them don't have the thick skin to deal with it,
No.
and some of them don't
It's
have the
sad.
support structure with their family
True.
or with the culture in general.
Like, I would
And
say,
I don't want to go into detail because I don't want to bring the podcast down to a real low note. But
True.
like the Sully and Goo Hara thing recently,
that's sad.
all the hate that they had to deal with, and then you see an interview with Unji, who, a long time ago, that's resurfacing now because of the Goo Hara thing,
Yeah.
and she's talking about how she, after her heart was broken so many times from all the negative bullshit, that she had to basically harden herself, and now she just instantly fucking hates the haters and says fuck you. She said it in a much nicer way, but that's
A more
basically what she
politically
said.
correct way.
More politically correct.
Yeah, we're not
star
signed
way.
with any kind of producer or studio,
Nope.
so we're,
Independent.
we are sitting down in a basement.
Hey.
Brown coats for life.
It's the KK. God, fuck yeah.
Fuck your unification day, motherfucker.
Big damn heroes of K-pop.
I am wearing my Hero Canton hat.
But, you know, Unji had to deal with it, and a lot of every K-pop star, everybody who's famous, everybody who puts some stuff out there, you have to deal with hate. I guarantee,
It's just a sad
if you create a
reality of it,
YouTube
yeah.
channel, especially in a place like K-pop, which in my opinion, as a fandom, has become more toxic than
yeah.
fucking Star Wars.
Which we
fandom.
talked about on our
And
last
I'm a member of
podcast.
every nerd fandom you can think of, aside from Doctor Who. Don't do Doctor Who, but everything else, I'm a fan of.
Never watched that.
It's not good anymore. It used to be okay, but since they SJW'd it up and made it all woke, it's awful. But you have to harden yourself, and you have to think like there's a lot of personalities that you know they're tender-hearted, or they don't have the ability to think that way because they can't cope with the fact that humanity has an evil streak in them sometimes.
There's a show that I like to watch. It's the Mythical Beasts or something like that.
Good Mythical Morning?
Good Mythical Morning, that's what
Yeah.
it is. And the one dude, I forgot his name.
I don't know, barely. I've watched it a few times.
Yeah, the shorter one
Okay.
with the glasses.
They're both really generic white guys, so it's like Chet and Brian or something.
True, but the other dude's like your height,
Is he?
just skinny.
Okay.
But they talked about this topic a little bit, and the shorter guy, he's a little more tender-hearted.
Mm-hmm.
And he said that he went through and he read some of the comments, and they were so mean
Oh, yeah.
that he actually like it hurt him personally.
Yep.
And like he wasn't sure if he wanted to like do the show anymore and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it hurt him that badly. And I think his name is Rhett and Link. That's what their names are.
Rhett and Link.
Rhett and
you're
Link,
right.
yeah.
There you go.
And Rhett and Link, whatever. He warned him. He was like, you shouldn't go back and read those comments. Don't do it. Because you're just going to get hurt.
Yeah.
Like, that was his way of defending his, like, protecting him, because he knew what type of person his friend was.
Yeah.
It's different with me and you, where it's just like, dude, this dude said some shit. You have to read it.
That's pretty much
Like, I'm not gonna lie, when y'all have like a good ass fat joke or something like that, man, I am telling you, I don't even give a fuck. You know how many times I've been called fat in my life? Shit, I was a fat kid since I was 8 years old. Like, I give a shit.
Yeah. And
Like,
that's a good example. You were picked on when you were younger. Until you realized
That's what
that
I'm
you were
saying.
bigger than everybody, you were like the target of everybody's attacks.
you know what's so crazy is like people get on us a lot. Like, oh, you're bullying, you're doing all this other shit. It's like, motherfucker, I've been bullied my entire
when
fucking
have
life.
I haven't bullied anybody. That's the thing.
You
though.
bully everybody with your negative comments.
No, negative comments are not bullying.
That's cyberbullying.
That's not cyberbullying.
That's cyberbullying.
That's bullshit. That's whiny milk
How
toast,
dare
limp-wristed bullshit. I'm sorry.
I don't appreciate your hate speech.
Cyberbullying is absolutely a thing, but that's if you're like going at attacking people.
True.
You're telling these K-pop stars are getting shit like Goo Hara and Sully. They were getting comments like "fucking kill yourself," you know, "you deserve to die." Why are you?
Right.
You get that shit all the fucking time.
We've gotten that
It will
shit.
absolutely mess with you. Hell
We've-
yeah, we've gotten that
we've
shit. I've
gotten
had
that
people
shit.
tell me the exact same thing over some. And to me, I just look at it like that person clearly is mentally unstable.
Yeah.
And I don't even take
And
it.
they've got some
I usually
fucking
just
issues.
chuckle at it, screenshot it, and like I'll send it to him or I'll send it to Internet Nathan or something. Be like, dude, read
Check
this
this-
shit.
That's what I'm saying though. Like
But-
we know how to take it.
We do.
That's the thing. Like we know how to just like let it roll off our back.
Yeah.
We're good at that. And I think it's just because we've developed that over time.
There's some-
but there's so many people that I feel like, especially with YouTube and social media in general, you have to have a specific type of personality and that thick skin if you're going to come onto platforms like this and put yourself out there and put your opinions out there, especially in this day and age.
Yeah.
Because if you can't take all that hate and negativity that they're going to be throwing at you and
Yep.
just realize like, hey, that's how they fucking feel, who gives a shit?
Yeah.
I'm going to live my life. I'm going to do what I need to do. I'm going to pay my damn bills because I don't give a fuck about you. Like, if you don't have that kind of mentality, it is going to affect you and beat you down, and you are just going to be in like this weird, dark place. Like, it's not good. It's just toxic.
Yeah. I can give you another example too. I don't know if she'd be okay with me sharing this, but she put it on Instagram. So I think I'll just share it out there. But
Cool.
a friend of mine, Melanie Lindgren,
Okay.
and her Melanie Fontaine and her husband Lindgren. They're the guys. They're the couple that wrote BTS's "Boy with Love."
You showed me them.
Yeah, I remember they did the whole video when he
You
had,
made- you made
went
fun of him.
He went in public with that crazy hair.
Yeah.
Well, like they hit me up and they were really cool, and they thought it was hilarious because like they could tell I was just bullshit. I wasn't being serious.
Yeah,
but,
it's not like sincere insults. What you're saying.
but they wrote the Boy in Love thing. So what they did, I think, it blew them up. Right, they had huge success with that song, and more power to them. But
Yeah.
because of that, I've seen her both in her comment sections and I've seen her post stuff and talk about it because she just doesn't get why these people are like that. The army will attack her for taking any amount of credit for writing the song because she didn't write it in Korean or whatever it was, but she wrote the melody, she wrote the bass song, and they translated it into Korean.
She wrote the
She
song.
wrote the fucking song. And if these idiots actually
Give credit where credit's due.
if you actually took the time to look back at her history and her entire portfolio of songs, dude, she's written songs before we were even into K-pop, like 2011, AOA, IOI songs, Bieber songs. Like she's written songs for a long ass time. She has a huge, bunch of songs that I love and that I know you love.
Props if you watch it.
And anytime she would post something on whatever, she gets attacked for that shit. And it's just like the bigger you get, the more haters come out of the roost. But
that's why I like the saying, haters gonna hate.
But like the cyberbullying thing, I have a problem with it because
it's hard, man.
I have a problem with people immediately
sucks.
jumping to it as anything, because I also believe, and I'm not defending them. Don't take it. This is gonna get a lot of hate. I know this is gonna piss a lot of people off because you're supposed to. I'm not gonna toe the line. You can suck my ass. I'm gonna tell you what I think. We're having a conversation here. Have them with us in the comments. If you have a dissenting opinion, let us know.
Remember,
we just talked about him learning how the Monsta X thing was good, even though we said we hated it. We are open to dissenting opinions. Conversation. But I think, like you said, you put yourself out there.
Yep.
You become a star.
Stars.
You become we're not. We're definitely not stars. Like burnt out ass fucking black holes.
We're like a Magog ship just floating in the void.
In regards to the K-pop stars, just specifically to them, you become a star. You go into this. I don't know if they're not being prepared.
Yeah.
Maybe it's the preparation that needs to change, because maybe they go into it, they spend 15, 16 hours a day busting their ass, going to school, training to dance, training to
There's so
sing.
much that they invest.
There's so much that they invest
their life. They literally invest their life.
Is anybody? That's a good question. Are any of these labels putting them in a fucking desk and being like, this is what's going to happen? Look at the history of K-pop. You're going to have this huge number of people come at you and fucking hate you potentially for no apparent reason. Or I'm talking like Sully or Hyorin or anybody get attacked because their skin is too dark and told to die.
Yeah.
Like
I'm not gonna lie. Like
it's just ridiculous and ignorant.
Because we've talked shit about like Jesse and Hyorin because of like the skimpiness and stuff like that.
That's not attacking them though. That's attacking the fact that they're appealing to a Western audience, and I want them to go back.
We're just talking shit.
We're just talking shit. There's a difference.
It's not like we're going out to like harm them emotionally. Like we're not going onto their platforms.
But I mean, if we're going to be candid about it, they don't know that. So potentially, as you'd see in the comments, if we're going to be honest with people watching this, if they were to see it, not knowing us, first time they see it, to me, they shouldn't give a fuck about what our opinions are.
That's what I'm saying.
But
that's
me and him. That's not them. So they may take it
like seriously. Who the fuck are we?
So maybe, because I've been thinking about this a lot.
Like, no joke. So on the flip of that would be like them. Say they made a response video, just hypothetically. They saw something where we was talking shit. They made a response video, and they talk shit about us.
I would be so happy. I'd be like, I made it again! Successful fan!
But also, at the same time, we don't give a fuck.
No, I don't.
Like, they could call me the worst thing in the world, and I really wouldn't care.
I will say this, though. It depends. Like, there's been a couple times where I've said something, because I run my mouth, and I don't plan.
But that's just how we are.
We don't plan anything we say, though. So
you should hear some of the stuff we say to each other when we're off camera.
If you want to be a patron, you can see some of that.
No joke. If y'all saw us off camera when we're into like some crap, and it is all fun, you would swear that we hate each other. You would be like,
Just-
holy fuck, how are they friends?
Just watch
Because
my
of
last
some-
WSN reaction.
yeah, that was like legit. But like, there's no malice behind anything that we say.
No.
It is literally us. It's like, I don't know if it's a cultural thing because of like where we grew up and stuff. It's literally like that basketball court thing.
Yeah.
You know, you just talk shit.
Yeah.
We could be playing mini golf and we gonna talk shit.
Hell yeah.
We have played mini golf
Wrap
and
my
talk
club
shit.
around the trees.
You remember that
Pissed me
shit?
off so much.
Why the fuck you talking to my backswing, mother? Like he went off.
I get competitive though. So.
Motherfucker backswing. It was a putter.
Whatever.
How much of
Listen.
a backswing do you got? Anyway,
I will
back
say-
on topic.
I will say, because of all this stuff,
Yeah.
I think it's important to self-reflect.
Yeah.
I think it's important that I don't think I'm perfect, and I think that
Fuck no, dude.
I think that there's been many times where I've said stuff that maybe I shouldn't have said.
Absolutely.
I mean, but the thing is, like, the people outside of me don't know my intent. My intent is never to like make somebody harm. I've never been to anybody. I've never been like, hey, you should kill yourself because I hate your song. I've never been like crazy kind of person. I have occasionally talked shit about the way somebody looks or the way they've dressed because I don't like the style. Whatever.
But
you
honestly-
can watch my videos. You know that's to be true. But
realistically, who the fuck hasn't?
I know everybody has. Everybody who says they haven't is a lying ass.
Yeah.
But I have been with Sully, with Hara, with Jungyeon, with everybody that's died,
Yeah.
and like I've been sort of in the middle of it, sort of like you're not really, you got to be careful what you say on
Yeah.
YouTube. Like I don't know. I think I've sort of reassessed the things that I will and won't say because I don't want to contribute to that. You know what I mean? Like I read some of these comments and I can't tell if they're actually assholes or if they're just trolling. But if you can't tell, if it's not obvious, you're not doing a good job at trolling. I don't think. So I think in some respects I will be
There are some
reassessing my own like words and the way I talk about certain things.
There are certain, like, I don't know. I'm trying to phrase it just right. Like, never mind. Just say what you're saying. My mind went somewhere, and I decided not to go there.
Probably a good idea if you decided not to say it. That would have been an edited out part.
See that? Growth.
Yeah, it's growth. But no, like
Put a huge filter on myself.
I don't want to contribute to it, right? Like I don't want to contribute to any more. I think that where the line gets blurry for me is that the one thing I don't like about all this stuff happening, like as a side effect, is that now people like us, if we criticize a song, like when people die, we'll criticize a song. I will immediately have people in my comment section using that person's death as a way to make a point about the song that they like that they're mad I didn't like. I forgot what it was. I did right after Sully had passed. Everybody was real sensitive, and it had nothing to do with it at all. It was some song I did a reaction to, and I was like, dude, that song was trash. I hated it. It was awful. I didn't attack anybody in the group. It was purely about the song. I just said it was trash. Like I was casually like, a song was trash, man. Like I can't listen to that crap. They were literally in the comment with these paragraphs talking about how I'm an asshole and I'm a piece of shit and this and that. And it's like, one, you're stupid because you're doing the very thing you're telling me not to do. Because what if I was a sensitive person? I read your comment and then I went and killed myself. You know what I mean? What if you were the last straw that broke the camel's back and now I just read it? I'm not that person, but what if I was? You don't know. And then they use Sully's death to try to prove their point, and I called them on it in the comment. I'm like, you cannot use a fresh tragic death of somebody who was literally maliciously harassed by people and told to kill themselves because I don't like a song that is entirely unrelated. I said nothing about the individual members. In fact, I'm not stupid. I made a point not to say anything about
All
the
it
members.
is it's a form of manipulation.
Exactly what it is.
And that's all they're trying to do is
That's
manipulate.
exactly what it is. So
I got
that's
it.
why I have a problem with it.
My
because
mom was
people-
Italian. Fuck you, manipulation.
People will
Shit.
use those situations to manipulate other people, and they do it in this like perceived positive way. But it's the ends don't justify the means, and it's just it's not right the way that it gets misused and abused. And then you feel like you can't say anything. A lot of people do because of what they like. Most people would have been like, "Oh, he talked about Sully dying. I can't say anything. He's right. Fuck you." I thought that that dude was in the wrong for using a death and a tragic circumstance to prove some bullshit point. And then you get that all the time. So you've got all these people.
That's like a different type of low to me, honestly.
It's a different type of low.
When somebody does that just to get their point across and make you like what they like, fuck you.
Yeah, for sure. That shows like I'm immature, but that's a different level of immature.
That is like a hard fuck you.
Yeah.
And I hope somebody punches you in the face.
Yeah. But,
like, that's wrong.
They're talking about passing...
that is so wrong.
They were trying to pass Sully's Law.
What's that?
I'm not really that sure with what specifically is in the law. I think it was more like one of those, like... I think it was one of those things where, like, we're going to pass this rule about malicious commenters being able to be... coming after the malicious commenters on, like, a legal basis. And I think to a certain extent that works. I think that a lot of times Western fans conflate Southern or South Korea like law, but I do think that with Goo Hara's passing now, that bill will probably gain a lot more steam, and it very likely could get passed. I don't know what the implications are because I really didn't research it, but I do know that it basically will. It's attempting to take legal action and recourse against malicious commenters who are, literally every single day just going in attacking with the intent of trying to cause some sort of mental or emotional harm to a person. Are you looking it up?
I'm looking it up for you.
But like I said, I think that it's important for everyone to reassess yourself once in a while.
So this is just like bullet point of the article.
Oh, okay.
It says, after K-pop death, Sully's Law being considered to fight cyberbullying. And then it proceeds to say, people use online forums to attack others anonymously, often with no idea of the damage they inflict.
Yep.
However, a law that demands people to use their real identities online,
that's what it was,
is hard to enforce, and some say unconstitutional. So that's just like a brief of what it is. There's a huge article that I'm
gotcha. So yeah, they were trying to get you have to use your actual identity, so that so you can't hide behind the. That's the biggest thing, is that so many of these
that would be hard
assholes,
to do, especially with people who are underage.
Well, the anonymity they hide behind too. The underage thing is a big thing because I bet a lot of them are underage.
Absolutely.
But you think about it, like there is a difference there to be drawn when you talk about like somebody like us, or anybody that puts themselves out there, and the point of your channel is to critique or judge or review or whatever. All those words can be. You're not.
It's an opinion on what we do and do not like.
Right, but
as an individual,
we're not hiding behind anonymity.
Like, it is relative to us.
But that's the difference, though, I think, in that. So like, where do you draw that line in that law? Because technically, we're not hiding behind anything. Your name is Paul, and my name is Will, and this is my basement. Like, we're not like a faceless, bunch of printed type.
But we're not out there like telling people to go do like those acts and stuff.
No, I would never do that.
We're not telling people to harm them, except for that dude that I said should get punched in the face. But I didn't use his name.
I'm totally okay with it. My favorite, though, is like when you go into the comment section, it's like, oh, look at these two ugly, fat, bald guys.
Yeah, because we never heard that
I've never seen a mirror before.
Never heard that before. Fuck. There's a big-ass mirror when I get out the shower. But I see it every damn day.
Somebody called me a moldy old egg. Lost my shit. It's like... It's so.
I can't see. Hold on, but you laughed too hard. Holy shit! Oh shit! You know that when you laugh too hard, you black out. I just did that. I legit it went black.
It's not like. It's not a really funny comeback, but it was so lame and random. I read it.
Whoever said that, fucking good on you. Shit. See, but what just happened? That is what I'm talking about.
But I will say. I'm gonna be honest, and I'm gonna be transparent here.
10 times 10.
There are a few comments that have legit affected me. Like, I'm not gonna sit here and say I've never read a comment that's been like, ooh, like that made me feel like shit or made me be like fuck. But those comments are they're not like the shit talking comments. It's the one where they legitimately call me out on something I did or said that I didn't think about, and I didn't perceive it that way, and they call me on it. and it hits your spirit where you're like, you're dead wrong, and you're like, yeah, I fucked up, and then you feel bad. You're like, there's been a couple of those moments. I mean, you can't put yourself online, have over 600 videos, and not fuck up at one point or another. But the problem is,
human.
The problem is nobody's allowed to make mistakes anymore.
Fuck that.
Everybody's immediately canceled.
That's how you learn.
That's how you learn. But these idiots don't want that. They want to feel superior to everybody. So they just cancel everybody, and they fucking hate. They spread hate shit everywhere, and they do the same shit to you that they say you're doing to other people. And it's like this big cycle
they become
of
what they
retardery.
hate.
Yeah. I legitimately hate cyberbullies and people that do that kind of stuff, and I feel for people like Hara and Sully who weren't able to cope with it, and they didn't have a mechanism built into their life structure that helped them cope with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're self-coping, and a lot of people are, where they just sort of, you ice over and you sort of deal with it. Some people can't do that.
It's true.
So I think that, like,
or they lack an outlet.
Yeah, back to my original point, I think that if the record labels aren't doing it, they need to incorporate some kind of, like, training to deal with that kind of thing.
Almost like
because
a mental strengthening.
You're not going to stop it. You can pass all the fucking laws you want.
But then again,
people are still going to do it.
It's the individual, no matter what kind of training you give them. If that's just not who they are as a person,
yeah, but
it's not going to happen.
You give them the training.
If you give them the tools, they can handle it better.
A space to come deal with it. You know what I mean? A place to bounce those issues off of, where they can be like
a safe space.
Not necessarily a safe space, but like a shrink or a psychologist or.
But they have all that, man.
But do they utilize it? That kind of stuff
Probably not.
that kind of stuff has a huge stigma in South Korea.
Does it?
Yeah. Like, why? Tell me this, and everybody's been asking this question. She tried to commit suicide. Goo Hara tried to commit suicide back in May or March, one of the two. Why the fuck wasn't she on suicide watch after her best friend just killed herself 2 weeks ago? Why wasn't she on suicide watch? She should have had somebody with her, like a fucking koala bear strapped to her. Because maybe she just needed somebody there. I think that's another issue. It's like a stigma. So like people try. It's one of those things like mental health.
But if you want to block,
you just sort of like
out,
everything's fine.
Look, I say this because I'm an introvert. If you want to block somebody out, you're gonna block people out. Give a fuck how much they try. You're gonna block them out.
But there's people like me who tend to be more like able to read people's emotions. I can tell when you're doing that, and I know I can see below it.
Yeah.
Because I care. But if you don't care, then you're not gonna care to even bother to look that deep.
True.
But like, I guess it's maybe more of an empathic thing, but like, why didn't she have anybody checking on her? You know what I mean? Why didn't Sully have anybody checking on her? They knew she was a risk. Yeah. Does Taeyun suffers from depression. She knew all these people. She's been seen at airports and all this kind of stuff in full black and mourning wear, and she suffers with depression. Is anybody watching her? Because they damn well better be. Can you imagine the shitstorm that would occur if somebody as high profile as Taeyun committed suicide?
I mean, I get what you're saying, but also on the flip side of that, it's like, man, other people got lives too. They can't watch them 24/7.
No.
I mean, but they can pick up a phone and be like, hey, what you doing? How you feeling? But
they can change the culture.
But that goes back to it. If you want, and I say that because I really am an introvert, and I've had depression in my life. Like, if you want to cut some shit out, you just block it.
Yeah.
You do. It's what you do. Give a fuck how many times you call me. Do whatever. Click.
I know. You just disappeared for like the last 8 months. And now you're back.
But that wasn't depression.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. Like, I get what you're saying, and you're not wrong.
No.
But I'm just saying, like, at what point is it where the people who are trying to try or, like, connect and see how they're doing, and you don't know if people aren't, you know? Like, you're not in their lives. You don't know what's going on the day-to-day. Like, maybe somebody is, hey, how you feeling? What you doing?
Right.
What you up to? You know, maybe that stuff is happening, but they're living their lives too. They got crap. I mean, I'm sure it's hard for them to.
In the reports that I've seen, though, and you can correct me in the comments if I missed something, but all the reports I've seen, everything I've heard, and all the stuff that fell, but that wasn't happening. Like the record labels are giving comments like, she seemed perfectly happy, everything was fine. It's like, well, even people, people in every comment section, you go back to like different stuff, there were clear signs that something wasn't wrong, but it's a stigma in South Korea. Like here, oh, you're depressed? take some fucking Humira. Like, here you go.
Yeah, here's your Xanax.
Yeah, here's your Xanax. But over there, it's not like that. Like, you hide that shit.
Yeah.
So, like, it's a cultural stigma, too. So, you can't just change culture overnight. It's not going to happen. So, South Korea has the second highest suicide rate in the world, behind Japan. And it's not going to... Those cultures are very rigid and strict, and you're not going to change that culture in a generation. It'll take multiple generations to change that.
But I think with most suicides...
But is there a way around the culture? You know what I'm saying? Like, is there a way to... If you... South Korea's goal is, like, soft power in the world. Their goal is to spread influence through popular culture. So K-pop and other medias that they use to spread that culture are government funded to a large degree. Did you know that?
I did know that.
So if it is so important for your country to spread that pop culture, don't you think you should take better care of the people that you're doing it with? Because you're now getting to a point where that soft power is starting to grow. And that influence is starting to spread, and people are starting to take notice. And when your stars start offing themselves within there's like 3 or 4 people this year in that kind of order, and you've got all these things happening, people are going to start turning away from it. I've already seen many videos on YouTube and forum things where people are like, I'm questioning my relationship with K-pop after all this. Maybe it's too toxic, and I'm done with it. I'm not going to support it anymore. And when that kind of stuff starts,
I've gotten to that point.
There you go. And then over different subjects, I believe, I assume, but like the toxic fandoms and stuff. But like, don't you think that if the South Korean government was so invested in this monetarily, and when they had a stake in it, they should maybe start to try to take better care of the people that are helping them push that agenda?
Yeah.
That's just my thought. Like, it seems like they don't give a fuck about it. They're just disposable. And I get that to a point, right? Because technically it's business. But they're still people.
Absolutely.
And even if you're faking it that you care about them and you're putting those things in place just for PR sake, that's still better than not having anything in place at all.
It's still going to have a positive effect.
Yeah. So, I mean...
I agree with that.
That's kind of where I'm at with all that. And you know, we're not experts on any of this stuff, so...
No, it's just...
We're just having a conversation.
That's... Yeah. Like, no joke. We wanted to talk about, like, this stuff earlier, but... Because it came up. And he was like, no, let's save it for the podcast. So.
Yeah, let's have a conversation for the podcast. So if we switch topics back to what we were originally talking about.
Let's go to something positive.
Yeah. You did the Monsta X follow-up, right?
Yes.
And you went and dug deep into the album and listened to it all 2 times, and you found what you did. I took the initiative this time to do it because I don't normally do it. I don't care. I just want to watch the video. Like,
you just want to be entertained.
Unless it's
you want bright, flashy lights and dancing. That's what you want.
I have Mamamoo's Melting. I have Unji's Hopefully Sky album and Wiki Miki album. That's it. I don't buy albums. I tactically acquire them.
I have Hyosung's album.
Do you?
On my phone.
Oh, nice. Okay. But so I don't.
Told you I'm in my truck all the time. I ain't pulling out no CDs.
That's true. Yeah. I don't usually go into the past though, but I went to the Cosmic Girls one. They dropped As You Wish. And I love that. It's like it's my current new favorite song, man. I love that song. Bro, I will say though, I have noticed something.
What?
So La La Love dropped, right?
Mm-hmm.
You're a huge Cosmic Girl fan now, right? I could dare say you are a Cosmic Boy trash. Yeah, okay. Because what we can do when we're done filming? I have like 5 new Cosmic Girl videos lined up for us.
Mukbangs, I believe.
Yes, mukbang. But you didn't like La La Love either.
I did not.
No.
In fact, I think I told you to stop it.
You did, yeah. I didn't because I'm not going to stop Cosmic Girls. But my guy Kpop Habits and a plethora of other people hit me up. And Kpop Habits did a reaction. He's a reaction channel. He's a really cool guy. He's actually honest, so if you haven't seen him, go check him out. I'll try to remember to put a link to his channel in the description. But he didn't like As You Wish. He thought it was crap, basically.
Really?
Yeah, but he loved La La Love.
Really?
And I have noticed, and other people hit me up this way, like cause I leave my DMs open, so people are always DMing the Instagram and the Twitter, and I've gotten the question like 100 times, like, why didn't you like La La Love? You're a Cosmic Girl fan, like.
Because I didn't fucking like it.
Because it wasn't good, and I'm like, but I like the 4th or 5th person that asked me, and now like 15 people in a row have asked them. Let me guess, you love La La Love and you don't like As You Wish, and they're like, I can't listen to it. It's not very good to me, but I love La La Love. So there's something about that style of music that people who love La La Love love, and they don't like As You Wish. And there's something about those contrasting sounds that hit certain people's ears that make them hate one and love the other. Because I love As You Wish. I can't stand La La Love. And Kpop Habits was like, dude, La La Love is one of my favorite songs.
He was all about it.
I can't stand As You Wish. And I was just like, interesting. Which this kind of goes back to what we were talking about earlier. Cosmic Girls is one of my favorite groups, like number 2, barely. I'm watching this, and I'm not like, how fucking dare you! You fucking piece of shit. Like, I'm just like, really? Like, that's interesting. I want to know why. Because I find it fascinating that
I wonder what it is about those
you
songs.
can hear the same song.
Oh my God.
You hear the same song, and you're like, dude, are you joking? This song is amazing. It's awful.
It's like
how is it awful?
It's like those two songs are the cilantro of K-pop.
I fucking hate cilantro.
That's what I'm saying. Some people love it, some people hate it.
I hate it so much.
Some
My
people
wife
say
loves
it's
it.
refreshing and delicious. Other people say it tastes like soap.
It tastes like soap, bro. It's disgusting. Ugh.
I love cilantro. Cilantro's awesome.
But I went back and all this. I'm rambling. I went back and I
listened
to the whole album. I've listened to it like 5 times now.
Okay.
It's a mini album. So there's only
how many songs?
There's 7, technically 6 if you don't count the first one.
Because it's an intro, right?
So it's As You Wish, Luckity Cat, Lights Up, WW, Bada Boom, Full Moon, and Don't Touch. I would say
Bada Boom.
I would say the one thing I look at when I do check out an album is I'm always searching for, is the song they released on that album as like the primary, the video, this is our album, check it out kind of song,
like the song that represents the album.
Yeah, is it the right one? Or do you find another song and you're like, why wasn't this the one?
That's how I feel with the Monsta X album.
Yeah.
Like, why was Follow the song that they decided to make like the flagship of the album?
Yeah.
When You Are clearly should have been, and or either Monster Truck or Burn It Up, I believe it was.
And I would say it is 100% safe to say, in my opinion, which is the only opinion that matters to me, As You Wish was the absolute correct choice for the title track off of this album. Luckity Cat is decent, but it's one of those songs that it's a little quirky. So
Okay.
I think it would probably split fans. Lights Up, it sounded like a holiday song. I hate Christmas music, so I'm not gonna lie.
Music.
I did not like that song at all. WW, I didn't really like that one either. Bada Boom was decent. Bada Boom is what I would have think that they probably were sitting in a room and they were probably debating over what song to drop. If they released Bada Boom, I would have been like, they're following the Western trend, because
Really?
it's got that sound. It's got that Westerny, like card kind of sound. You know what I mean? And it's not always a bad thing. And in this case, the intro into the chorus instantly turns me off. But then as soon as it flips and they kick the beat back up and they get rid of that like drop 808 bass sound, it's really good. So it's like I'm glad they didn't do that one, but I can tell from the song that it would appeal to that Western audience if they were chasing that. So that would have been a good choice if they were trying to possibly reach to a different group of people. I would say though it's not a bad song once you kind of get over that, because the second half of the chorus is really good, and it's just like so good I've considered putting it in like an intro. I liked it. Full Moon is okay, but it's one of those songs where you get about halfway through and you're like
Bored.
I'm gonna flip this. Yeah. But Don't Touch is fire. Don't Touch is fire. I really like that song. It's got this. First time you hear it, they do like this weird reverb sound over the singing, and it almost sort of distracts from the singing. And at first you're like, I don't know if that's a good decision. And then the second time you hear it, you're like, all right. Third time you hear it, yeah, this song's fire. Like, I think that'll be a sticking point. I think that's a personal taste right there. That one's probably subjective, but I would say Don't Touch would be the second best song off of here, followed by Luckity Cat, and then Bada Boom, and then Full Moon. But overall, it's worth the purchase. Like, it's a good out for a mini album. It's not bad.
So if you were to do like a purchase, don't purchase.
I'll purchase. Yeah, I would purchase this album.
I would probably say purchase the Follow album.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice. We need to get like a bell for a trash or pass kind of thing. I would say definitely pass. Not trash.
So
It's definitely good.
If you were to put, like, say, we did like a number of stars, 1 through 10.
Mm-hmm.
How many stars would you give it? What would you give that album? 1 out of 10.
7.5.
7.5.
Yeah.
That's a good rating.
7.5 out of 10. If they had one more song on there that was As You Wish quality, like that kind of K-pop sound, I would say it would have been 9 out of 10. But there was, that As You, you know how that As You Wish sound is just like, it's Cosmic Girls. It's like that synthy,
classic
K-pop awesomeness.
classic.
It's K-pop awesomeness. The rest of the album,
When it makes you do the Trump.
Huge. Video just got demonetized. But it's
I'll just blur it.
yeah, I would say it's the most K-poppy song on here, followed by Luckity Cat. But it's quirky, so it's like that kind of quirky song that a lot of people wouldn't get. But yeah, for shizzle. Now, jumping subjects entirely, completely no segue needed here.
What we got?
I want to talk about Billboard and the morons that work over at Billboard.
Oh, are you gonna? Is this the Red Velvet?
So,
Is this the Red Velvet stuff?
Billboard dropped
It
not
is.
only
It
a
is.
100 best, what is this? 100 best K-pop songs of the decade. Of the fucking decade, bro. I just want to let you know what I don't, it's you're at 100 to like 100 to 50. I'll give you whatever you put in there. There's a shit ton of great songs. It would be impossible to really narrow it down and remember everything without a shit ton of work, and it would be so subjective.
Absolutely.
So, I'm not going to even go there.
Well, that's the thing. Was this a poll that was done?
But let me just say this. I don't think this is my opinion. I think this is a lot of people's opinion. One of the best songs of 2019 was Chung A's Gotta Go. It made number
I agree with
100
it.
on
That
this
song
list.
is good.
It made number 100 on this list. Let's
Chung-A-
just scroll down, shall we?
Chung-A did a good job.
Let's
with that
just do
song.
the top 10 really quick. I want to
What you got?
see.
There's a top 10.
There's a top 10 if I could find them. So, top 10. Yeah, I found them. Hold on. I want to see if I agree with these because I didn't look at them yet. I only looked at the top 2. I want to know who. I didn't
What
read this whole
Billboard are
article.
you looking at? Is this just like
This is Billboard. This
just
is like
Billboard.com?
Billboard. It was a Facebook thing I saw, and it went to Billboard.com, and they named the top 100 K-pop songs of the decade. So 2010 to 2020. Number 10. I really like this song. Do you remember the Primary featuring Choa song? That really like sad, depressing song called Don't Be Shy?
Mm-hmm.
Number 10. Of all time. Paul, who's one of my favorite artists in K-pop? Ever. Choa. One of my favorites.
Well, I was going to.
One of my favorites. And I really
She's your
like that
top.
song. But top 10 of all time? Did one person sit and make this list? Did they not take any votes? Number 9 is FX 4 Walls. Y'all know how I feel about FX. I don't like FX. Number 8. This one I wouldn't even put this in the top 10. And I love this song. Big Bang's Bad Boy.
That was a good song.
It was, but would top 10 of all time?
No.
All time. BTS Blood, Sweat, and Tears. Number 7.
No.
Of all of BTS's discography.
No.
Now that one I would say
Save Me. But
I would
that
say
wasn't, well, no, that
if
wasn't
they're taking
2020.
this song
Wait, that's from-
based
wait,
on
wait,
its
wait.
impact and changing sort
That's
of-
from the decade, right? This is the decade?
Dope.
Oh, fuck.
I mean
yeah.
the entire everything
I'm not going to lie.
everything pre Blood, Sweat, and Tears.
Save Me is my jam. I love Save Me, though.
Shiny's Sherlock is number 6. Yeah. Shiny's Sherlock is number 6. Girls' Generation's I Got a Boy is number 5. The song I hate the most of all their songs. The only one I hate of all their songs is I Got a Boy. And it's number 5 on here.
I would think Lionheart would be better than that one.
2NE1's I Am the Best. I can see that one being in the top 10 because it had such an impact.
Yeah.
Number 3, Infinite The Chaser.
Really?
Yeah. I feel like this is a very subjective thing. So if you disagree with us, fine, whatever. Red Velvet's Red Flavor. That is my absolute favorite Red Velvet song. I fucking love this song. I still listen to it. It's not top 10 of all time.
No.
It's not top 10 of... I think they fucking put that in there because then Billboard turned around and they declared Red Velvet as the girl group of the fucking decade, which we're going to talk about next, but we're going to bypass that. For number one, I use Good Day.
Yeah.
That 8-minute long video.
I didn't even watch it.
That's because it's awful.
Like, I'm not gonna lie. I'm not.
All the songs.
I'm sorry, Brian, but like, I think I only have like 1 or 2 songs of hers that I actually enjoy. I really don't like her stuff.
No, I think she's super overrated. I like her as a person. I think she's a really good actress. I finally did watch a couple of her like some scenes and stuff from K dramas.
Mm-hmm.
She's a really good actress. I don't like her music though. Most of it. I like 23 and a couple other ones, but IU A Good Day. Even if you like that song, of all this fucking decade,
No.
who the actual fuck made this list?
There's so many of everything that's on that list. There are so many songs that I would say are better than that.
Good Day is the epitome of K-pop's rare ability to cross unexpected genres and make them mainstream. In orchestral instruments harmonize with unexpected blasts of brassy horns throughout the subtle key changes in the track. IU's saccharine pop glosses everything over to make these mastermind musical decisions essentially undetectable. With one song, IU, the vocalist, makes her true debut with a comforting, sweet, and easy to sing along style. Blah 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 blah.
And they're really good at like.
Just because you can put a bunch of that
Descriptive
nonsense in it. What is the impact that song had? Because I'm thinking if you're talking about that big of a scope, if you're talking about a decade, you don't talk about...
It's 10 years, man. That's a long time.
If I was going to make that list, I would do my best to make it a very healthy mix of my bias with what actually makes fucking sense. Because if I was talking about my top 10 songs of all time, Big Bang's Fantastic Baby, it'd be in the top 100, but it wouldn't be in my top 10.
No.
But if I was making a logical one, it would be in the top fucking 10. If I was making one of the decade, what song has more of an initial pull for like a non-K-pop fan? You can show that to anybody, and they're gonna like it. The impact of that song and Big Bang in general as the most successful boy group in fucking history, including Backstreet Boys over everybody. I would put that song in there, but it wouldn't be on my own personal. But I would put it in there because it makes sense.
True.
I don't understand the logic behind this list. I'm really curious about.
Now you got me thinking about like G-Dragon's One of a Kind.
I mean, it's super subjective, but I feel like if you're working at a place called Billboard, you should have more than maybe one person do this. Like you have the resources to send out polls and to take at least like take a pulse of what everybody thinks,
create
and then
like
combine that with
systems.
something.
I mean, you know how many songs though they had to have gone over?
How many did they go over? It doesn't look like they went over that many to me.
No, it doesn't.
They picked a few generic ones that you think should be up there.
I think it almost looks like what they did is they went back to like
17's very nice is 15, bro.
Really?
Yeah. Did that song have any kind of big impact to be up at 15? Like I said, I'll put any of these in the top 50 to 100, whatever. That was just me randomly scrolling. Read some more.
Wow.
What?
Rainbow's A is number 16.
See, I love that song. That should be in the 50 plus.
This is going to piss you off. And this is just because it's biased. Kara's Step is 17.
I think that should be up that high.
See? Because of the bias, though, I could have sworn you would want it higher.
No, I think it should be in the top 20. But top 10 of all time?
Okay.
Number
19, Ladies Code Galaxy, I don't think that should be there.
No, but think about it this way. Top 10 should be reserved for songs that impact all of the fan base in some kind of way. Like newbie K-pop fans, they don't know who the fuck Hara is.
No.
They've never heard Step.
They're not existent anymore.
And that's fine. Like they don't exist anymore. They haven't gone back that far. At some point they may turn around and go, let's go back and check out these old songs. Like I know some people have, but I think the top 10 should be reserved for those type of songs that are timeless. You know what I'm saying? Like, that should be songs that any generation of K-pop fan is going to go, I know that song, I'm aware of its impact. Whether I particularly personally like it isn't really relevant because of how fucking impactful that particular song was to the overall genre of K-pop. What other ones are you reading? Because you look like you got a look on your face.
A-Pink's Ungung is number 31.
A-Pink's Ungung should not be 31 on this list. Was that the only A-Pink song?
That I've seen so far.
Okay, so you're scrolling up from the bottom. A-Pink is my all-time favorite group. There are so many other songs from A-Pink that should be on this list. I swear to you, know what they're doing? They're going up fucking views on YouTube. That's probably what they're doing.
I think so, because number 33 is FX's.
Well, no.
Rum Pum Pum Pum.
Actually, no, I take that. See, I don't like FX. I don't like a single song from FX. I've never liked a song from them. And I particularly hate that song. But that song had a huge impact, and it stuck out, and it's what probably made them as famous as they are amongst second-gen K-pop fans. And it's a very unique song. I don't like them. It's the only one I know the chorus to from them. So that song deserves to be higher, in my opinion. That should be in the top 20, in my opinion. And I don't even like that song. But if you look at it objectively, but I think I'm wrong though about the YouTube views, because if that was the case, like Psy would be on top.
I was just thinking,
and then,
I was like, where the fuck
bit,
is Psy on this?
It'd be like Psy, 6
look
BTS
how much
videos, Blackpink, and Twice. That would be
dude,
it.
like I'm telling you, I think like Psy really put K-pop on the map more, especially
Lord.
here in America.
Okay, this is a conversation. You're not aware of this because you disappeared for a while. But let's talk about it, Paul.
All right.
There is a thing that happened a little while ago. This is old news, so if you're bored now, whatever. But you haven't heard our opinion on this yet.
Give a fuck.
BTS fans were saying that BTS paved the way.
Yeah, because that has.
BTS paved the way to its current success in the West and in general.
Okay.
And the argument is...
What's their argument? Because they've been on Ellen?
I've heard a lot of different...
Is that what it is? It's because they've been on Ellen?
You haven't made it unless you've been on Ellen.
Oh, and they were... I'm sorry. They were also the answer to a Jeopardy question, I found out. Is that why they paved the way?
So, I've heard really shitty arguments for it, but I've also heard a couple decent ones.
Okay.
And it's more or less talking about generational. So, you have the first gen of K-pop.
Second gen.
That most of it I'm not even a fan of. Unless you go back to like SES or like HOT, those are okay.
Yeah.
There's one ones I can name too. Second gen, which is superior to all others.
That's where we came in.
Third gen, which until late in third gen was also fan-fucking-tastic because it was like a combo of the two. Fourth gen is what we're in now.
Yeah, and that's where it took like a tank to us.
They sort of, from what I remember
For
somebody
us
telling
anyway,
me.
that's what happened.
Yeah, from what I remember them telling me though, and hearing in some of the arguments, was that basically BTS is what caused the West to love K-pop as much as they do. Now, I have a problem with that point in general.
How is that so when BTS
if you can argue it better in the comments, please do, because I'm not a proponent of your particular side of this argument, so I don't know the argument that well.
Well, no, my genuine question is, if that's so, considering they're basically pandering to the Western audience by changing the way that they sound and do stuff.
That's a very good point.
And
no.
Psy,
they're growing as artists.
Yeah, whatever. Psy did his thing and did some shit that was just like, what the fuck is this? Because that's what made us start looking it up. It was like, what the hell is this? It's unique. It was different. We had no idea what the fuck it was. And there was a lot of like references that we didn't even understand. Like, we didn't know what the fuck Gangnam Style meant. We just thought it was catchy.
Yeah.
We weren't even saying it right. We were saying Gangnam Style.
Yeah.
And it's Gangnam. Like, and I'm sure I still butchered it.
I think that...
But, like, how can you say that somebody paved the way to it when they've altered it so much that it's not even what it is originally? And...
Well, pop music changes, so I'm not even going to argue from that perspective.
That's true, but, like... I don't think... And this is just how I'm thinking. I'm just throwing it out there into the ether. Cool ya jets. Because I can already feel the fucking rage on the keyboards. You're going to have to go hit their mom up for Christmas. I broke my keyboard raging at these two fat fucks. With what Psy did, and this is just a question, a hypothetical. What if because of what Psy did, that brought as many people as it did to K-pop, which inevitably led to the success of BTS.
No, I agree. But you can make the I think at its core it's a stupid argument, because that's like saying which one of your body systems are more important, your lymphatic system, your
Cardiovascular?
your cardiovascular system,
Your nervous
system.
Yeah.
It's like, okay,
What about your parasympathetic
Take
system?
one out. What happens? You fucking die. You need all of them working in unison to exist. And I think that is exactly how, to the K-pop argument, these fucking fanboys and fangirls, they're like, BTS paved the way to the West. It's like, no, there was multiple groups.
Well, that's because they
Before
need their
Psy.
group to be the best. They need them to be number one.
Right, but before Psy, from a logical perspective, I think Girls' Generation appeared on Letterman and a couple other things. Wonder Girls did some shit with Akon and somebody else, and there's a couple other people that I'm missing that attempted it first. They came first. So without a group like SES, who I'm not even that big of a fan of, without them being as big as they were, you don't have the next group that's as big.
Sure.
And then you don't have the next group. And then you don't have all the groups that come from them that spawn the big record labels that have the money to produce the groups.
You also don't have the evolution of those particular groups.
Exactly.
Because all those groups from the groups past are basically the foundation of K-pop and that next generation.
Yeah. So I think the argument that Psy successfully introduced K-pop to the West is the most sound one. Because if you didn't have Psy infecting the algorithms of YouTube, because that is how K-pop was spread. K-pop was
Viral.
spread through YouTube. Period. That's where it grew. That's its base. If without Psy being in there and that song blowing up and be the biggest YouTube video of all time,
Isn't it still?
it still is. It was not the biggest video, but it's the biggest like K-pop video now. It got passed
Views,
by views that got passed by Despacito and something else too.
Well, K-pop.
K-pop, it's the biggest still.
Yeah.
Just barely, but it's the biggest still.
Despacito is my shit.
Yeah, that's alright. I never really get that song.
It makes me think I can speak Spanish.
But that song was so big, and almost everybody watched it. Half the population of the planet theoretically watched that video at least once. Mm-hmm. And when you watch something on YouTube, what does YouTube do?
It gives you the next.
Oh, you watched
the
this
recommended.
K-pop video. You might be interested in this K-pop video, which is exactly how me and you
Found
vicariously found Lee High and were introduced into K-pop.
Yeah.
I didn't know what the fuck K-pop was. I knew that Psy's Gundam Style was catchy, different, and I liked it.
Yep.
Then we found Lee High because I watched Psy, and then it was like, what is this? There's a thing here beyond Psy. I must find out everything. And now I'm here. So, and dragged him along with me, guys.
I wouldn't say dragged. It was like
At first, you were resistant for like one version of the song. And the second time, you're like, all right, let's listen to more.
I did like that fake pullback. Like, no, man, no. Okay, I'll
But
go along with
you remember when I found the Poison video from Secret and I showed you Hyo Song? Because I knew that would lock you in.
That was a magical day.
That's when he became a real K-pop fan.
That was a magical day.
You know what I was?
Bruh.
I was your poison.
Dude. Man.
But
That made me go on like such a bad slippery slope into K-pop. It was
I look at it from this perspective. The new fans who are arguing for the fact that BTS was the introduction, the catalyst that made it as popular as it is.
I'm gonna say that's disrespectful to your elders.
From their perspective, it is, because Psy did not initiate that to them.
True.
And most people don't have the ability to look back and see the historical actions that occurred to create the present and future events that happened spawn from it. So they think BTS was on this show and that show and won an AMA and they're all over the radio and I hear them at Walmart and all this bullshit.
I saw their
They
shit.
introduced it.
I sent you a text.
They are
Saw their shit at Barnes & Noble.
Oh, that's right, yeah. But they are the product of Psy's initial introduction into the West. Without Psy, I argue you don't have BTS. I think you still have BTS, but you do not have their impact as it presently is.
They probably would have eventually gotten to it. I think Psy sped it up.
I don't think they would have gotten to it. I don't think K-pop would be where it's at now. In general, regardless of BTS or anything, I don't think K-pop would be as big as it is now without Psy. I think it would have continued to grow, but they needed that humongous fucking viral global hit to really propel it to the next level. I'm not taking away from BTS. BTS has done a shit ton of stuff. Yeah. Regardless if I like their new music or not, a lot of people do.
Yeah.
And that you can't deny the impact that BTS has had. They're like, to me, they're the next evolution of what Psy is. But you can't say that and take away from what Psy did. BTS absolutely introduced a whole new generation to K-pop, just like Psy did. But Psy did it first. Wonder Girls, Girls' Generation, they didn't have the impact when they came. And there's a lot of first geners and stuff that'll argue that because they want to do that and they want to be contrarian and shit, but they didn't have the impact. Nobody goes, oh yeah, remember when Girls' Generation was on Letterman? No. I remember it because I thought it was kind of cringy, but they didn't that video didn't hit 3.5 billion views. And my mom wasn't fucking doing Gundam Style and shit, and she's completely white and old. So, like, the cultural impact that it had
just gave me a fun memory.
Was super significant. And you can't take away from that. Without that, you would not have BTS in the position they are to then continue to impact and grow it as much as they have. Yeah. Though I do believe BTS is presiding over the end of K-pop as we know it. I'll leave that at that. Let us know if you want to hear more about that in the next podcast.
I love how you quick talk that in there, too.
Yep.
And period.
Do you want to talk about the end of K-pop? Do you think it's coming to an end?
There's a reason they call it a K-wave.
True.
Waves don't last forever.
But there can be multiple waves. You could argue what I just said. Psy was the first wave. BTS is now another wave.
Yeah, and then there'll be another. It's inevitable. It's always going to happen.
Will it? When's the last time there was a big British invasion? Like Beatles style. Like Beatles impacted the world.
Okay.
I will say that Beatles have impacted the pop world. That was
a different time and era, and they had all the
the hippy dippy shit going on.
Yeah.
But we kind of have that now. Everybody
people were smoking crack and
everybody's wimpy and whiny now too.
That's true.
And now BTS is the new wave.
Dear God, they're the Korean Beatles.
They are the Korean Beatles. You can't take that from them. Bunch of good-looking young men with mop tops. You know what I'm saying? All the women's getting moist.
Don't let me down.
I hate the Beatles, bro. I fucking hate them.
I actually genuinely like the Beatles.
I hate them. I'll never understand why people like them so much. I hate their music. I hate it so much.
I don't like all of it.
I hate all of it. I don't like any of their songs.
Yellow Submarine was they were on acid shit. I can't stand that album. But the old shit when they didn't allow people to dance and they were just bopping, I like that stuff, man. Twist and Shout, I like that.
That's them?
Yeah.
Okay, well I like Twist and Shout then, but I like all the people that sang it after them, not them. But yeah, you can't take away from BTS. I feel like that's one of the reasons that I get the arguments annoy me because the ARMY completely takes away from Psy, and then all of the people that they do that to, then you completely take away all the success that BTS has.
You have
BTS
to give the credit where the credit is due.
They have accomplished a lot. You got to give credit where exactly.
You earned it.
Mm-hmm.
You earned it, but that doesn't give you the right to discredit or take what that other person behind you built away from them. Oh no, you didn't do shit.
But
bullshit.
So do you think? In your opinion, you kind of stepped away from K-pop for a while?
I did.
I say about a year.
Yeah.
And now you've
I had to take a huge break.
You're slowly transitioning back into it.
Yeah.
I've been here. We in these streets.
Yeah, I know you have.
We in these streets.
I feel like I came back to you living in a box.
Yeah.
With some tinfoil on your head.
Second gen K-pop dance in a box. I live in a box. But
you got a disco ball that you shoot lights on so you can pretend you're in those old music videos.
Yeah. But do you think, from a perspective of somebody that's just coming back to it, and you came from the end of arguably the peak of K-pop?
I did. That's pretty much when I stepped out. When shit started to it hit its apex and started dropping. I think that's really when I kind of
so
exits left stage.
What are your thoughts on the current state of K-pop then?
Ooh, that's tough.
Mm-hmm.
I will say, since I've come back to K-pop, I haven't enjoyed it as much.
Why is that?
I don't know if it's the way that it sounds and just like the overall appeal to it. I feel like there's more drama with it now.
There's a lot more drama, but
There's-
that's not the music side of it. That's the
No, that's
cultural
that's
side
the
of
culture,
K-pop.
but it affects you though.
Oh yeah,
They go hand in hand.
yeah.
Like you get one, you have the other. Like that's just how it's gonna go. And I feel like when we first came into K-pop, it was on like that rise, and you know, it was fun, it was exciting, it was new. You know, there wasn't bullshit. I mean, there was, but we didn't know about it.
Yeah, we didn't care.
we couldn't read it. But
But then I've been thinking about what that point. I mean to cut you off, but that point right there is important because when we came into it, it was fun, it was new, it was interesting, it was quirky.
yeah,
Now it's not. So I question myself, like how much of that is me being jaded, and how much of that is the songs actually just in the style changing to the point where it doesn't vibe with me as much anymore.
basically your inability.
And then I try to look at it from the perspective of newbie
mold
K-pop
with it.
fans. They weren't there for the second jam like we were.
True.
So they're coming in for this late third, early fourth gen stuff. This is their K-pop. This is all they've ever known.
Yeah.
Just like when we go back and look at the first gen stuff, the shit looks dated as fuck most of the time.
Yeah.
Now, most of the second gen stuff, especially mid to late second gen, holds up, but some of the earlier stuff does not. I still like it, but you can see it's dated, and you can hear it's dated. But like, this is all they've known. So from their perspective, they're on that same ride. This is great. This is awesome. This is giddy. Blah blah blah.
If you think about and like,
But I don't think they realize
I can't
the
even say that
changes
it's-
that K-pop has gone through in a matter of like 7 years.
I can't even say that is a generational thing, because it's just individual based, really. But for me, coming back into it, I would probably say that right now, whereas back in the past it was me developing that ear for it
Yeah.
and figuring out what I like and like, okay, I like this. How do I find stuff that's like this?
That's a good point because
And then-
our taste from like the first year
Oh, dude, I'm telling you,
dramatically
we
changed.
talked
There's stuff
about this earlier when we in one of the other videos that
No, we did.
yeah.
Girls' Generation.
Like Girls' Generation, before we listened to Lionheart,
Mm-hmm.
there was a ton of songs that we hated. But then for whatever reason, that song just like flipped something in us. We went back, listened to a bunch of different stuff, and we liked it.
Yeah. Not only did we like it, but we're like, why didn't we like these songs?
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
so good.
It's true. But I feel like when I left, it was kind of like a good point for me to leave because K-pop was awesome for me then.
Mm-hmm.
Now that I'm coming back, K-pop has changed a lot.
Yeah.
It's crazy how much it's changed in a year. And for me, now nothing really sounds a lot like that old stuff. So now it's me trying to find those little gems
WJSN.
that sound like that. Yeah.
CLC.
That's what I'm saying. Like
Yeah.
stuff that brings me back to that. You know, it's just like, oh, okay. You know, it's almost like I'm trying to find a retro song that isn't really retro.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Something that brings you back to vibes of K-pop.
Yeah.
It's not just about the sound of the music.
There are some newer songs that I'll admit I like.
Yeah.
And I'll listen to them and stuff like that. But I feel like right now, there's not as many songs coming out that I genuinely like as much as I did back when we first started watching K-pop and when I left K-pop.
I would say, to be more specific, I would say there's not as many songs coming out now that I like or enjoy as about halfway through my K-pop journey. The beginning, I was super fucking picky, and there was only
both were.
There was I don't want to speak for you, but there's a certain groups, certain sounds, but certain things were just too much for our very white Western brains. It was just like, no, that is not normal. And now it's like, that is amazing. I want more of that.
You remember when we were watching it and like, oh god, the first music video, like legit K-pop music video, not Psy, not Lehigh,
Okay.
but like when we went to like Kara or some other stuff, like how fast it jumped.
Oh, the jumps.
The jump.
Jumps. Yes.
That oh my god. That remember,
I remember
in
you
the
would
beginning.
complain about getting dizzy.
In the beginning, it was so distracting for me.
You had to grow your K eyes.
That's what it is, man.
You had to develop the K
That's
eyes.
what it is. It's like the Byakugan of K-pop. But
You forgot about that shit. We used to call it that because it was lame as fuck.
oh man, Naruto. But for real though, you remember that? Like it was like for a lot of the songs, I couldn't get into it because of the jumping. Regardless of the song, it was like I had to close my eyes and listen to it.
It didn't bother me as much, but I remember you complained about it a lot. But you also had the weird eye thing, so that probably messed it more.
That my eyes suck. But I eventually got used to it, and then I started appreciating it more. And I remember like one of the hardest things with all the jumping, it's like, fuck, how do I find my bias? They keep fucking shifting on me, and now I lose it. Where's heel suck?
Yeah. Yeah, I remember that was always a problem. You're trying to find your bias, trying to figure out who the hell's who. Yeah, but it was harder when we were it was harder when we were K-pop fans because you didn't have the same amount of stuff that was easily to access. You couldn't be like,
so hard.
Oh, Kara, cool. It wasn't like a real Wikipedia that was in English at the time. You could read to get their names and understand it was all in Hangul. Like, fuck.
Yeah.
But luckily that changed really quickly because it started blowing up shortly after we got into it. But
shortly after Psy.
Yeah, shortly after Psy. That's right. Pave the way. But you know what I did notice, though? One of the biggest changes for me in K-pop, and I think this is true for a lot of people, they flip one way or the other.
Okay.
We used to be primarily guy group fans.
Yeah.
And
that's right.
I don't know what the actual fuck happened. But guy groups just took a shit the last few years.
I also think we just became little bitches too.
I've always been a little bitch. I didn't become nothing. I've always loved bubblegum ass pop music.
Oh my god, man.
But the BAPs, throwback EXO, throwback BTS, throwback GOT7 stuff, anything from the late second gen guy groups, they were all so good. Yeah. And then as soon as they started appealing to the Western audience,
changed,
and like they grew or whatever. And first off, GOT7 always looks like a busted ass Gap commercial now. Everybody's always jumping on trampolines and slow motion and shit and showing me their blue jeans and stuff. Like, just dance and be cool. Like, what happened? Jackson does his solo stuff and he's all hard and gangster and it's not good. But at least it seems more like how it used to GOT7 used to be. But then you got GOT7 and they like totally try to appeal really to like that female audience. Like, you've forgotten about your male audience. Remember like how fucking I miss like the post-apocalyptic shit. That whole era.
I think that's why we like Monsta X so much.
Yes, they sound well until recently they sound like a throwback group. But like you said, I'm gonna check out the rest of their album now.
You should.
But
it was dope.
Everything Monsta X, like they had like a more, I'm gonna say it, they had a more masculine feel to them.
You just went off on a tangent.
I guess. I don't know. I think guy groups have lost whatever it is. Now guy groups do this thing where they're constantly all the dance moves are fucking identical on the top tier groups.
Man, it's gotta be hard to come up with choreography though.
It is.
I mean, come on, like
it's
legit.
But like what's her name? Leah Kim. Leah Kim. Have you ever seen any of her dance videos? Or she has like that I can't remember the name. The Million Man Studio. I don't remember the name of the studio. She's one of the more successful studios. Does a lot of like she did like Everglow's Bon Bon Chocolate recently and a bunch of other ones.
I love that song.
Yeah.
I love that fucking song.
You know what?
I love that fucking song.
Transition off this nonsense.
Bon Bon Chocolate. Dude.
You know who wrote that song? Melanie Fontaine and Lindgren.
Really?
Shout out again. Yeah.
For real?
Yeah. Song's fire, dude.
If y'all watch this and you even got this far into the video, dabbing you. That's my shit.
Yeah, I love that song. And their second one even grew on.
No joke. Think of those dance moves and then my big ass in the shower. You're welcome.
Only
Dude, trying to get all hippie with it and I can't do it. All lathered up in like some Old Spice shit.
Yeah. So like that's how many you probably don't even know. There's been we'll save this for the next podcast. I'll have a full list of all of the newest groups, all the newbie groups this year, the debut groups, and we'll talk about them.
Cool.
But I think we're at the end of this podcast.
How long have we been doing this?
I don't know. Doesn't even matter. Long, 2 hours over.
True.
But hey,
talking some nonsense.
Yeah. Thank you guys for watching. We appreciate it.
Again, let us know if you really like enjoy us doing this kind of format because honestly, it's fun for us.
Yeah.
Just kind of shooting the shit. You guys kind of get to come along for the ride and see what we would legit be talking about anyway.
Pretty much.
So, yeah.
Yeah. But thank you guys for watching the Kpop Afterbirth, the fastest growing podcast in the world. Sounds just like Mark Bell, doesn't it?
It does, man.
Super training them, the strongest gym in the West. Oh man, my entire YouTube is like strongman and K-pop. It's a really weird combination. It's strongman, K-pop. There's like smatterings of video game stuff in there.
We just got to combine those two.
Yeah, although recently I've been on a Star Wars kick.
Yeah, I know. I talked to Arwen.
Yeah, so she's up there drawing, just creating her own Jedis and everything.
She's like, I was playing the game and I keep going under the AT-AT and I keep getting killed. I was like, so why don't you stop going under the AT-AT?
She likes to hide. She's a camper. She's a natural camper.
Maybe I should teach her how to play video games.
Yeah. But hey guys, thank you again for watching. We appreciate you hanging out for the podcast.
True.
Drop a like, drop a subscribe. If you made it this far, I want you to put the phrase flibbledy gibbledy, because I'm gonna see that clear as hell.
Nobody's gonna know how to spell it.
Make it up. It doesn't matter. I'm gonna know what it is.
True.
So, also, Internet Nathan,
You doing this shit?
I'm gonna burn my whole Twice collection unless you shout us out in your next video. I doubt you made it this far, but you know who I'm talking to. You go tell him, people. You go tell him on his Instagram that Big Will at Kpop for Life and Big Paul are gonna burn his fucking Twice collection of posters and everything. He shout us out in his next video and share some of the damn wealth.
He legit has a fire pit ready.
I do. We're gonna do the damn thing. Keep on popping, K-popers, and remember, it's not a trend.
It's a lifestyle, y'all.
Doses.